inspired. Be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Marlene Saunders show. And you're tuned into the We Need to Talk. And my recurring co host is Geo Monroe Show. And if you're new to this channel or Geo's channel, hit that subscribe, hit your notification bell, and we're going to get into today's topic. Today, we're going to be talking about the EBT ending soon for many. So, let me invite up my co host, and we're going to get started in this topic.
Well,
Hello,
hello,
Gio.
everyone. Hey, Marlene. Thanks for inviting me.
Always a pleasure, Gio. Thank you so much. So, we're going to be talking today about the EBT ending soon for many. And I'm going to just share this information that I found from the FNS. Um, and it's talking about the benefits. So, if you all didn't know, during the pandemic, they made a special benefits, SNAP benefits, or EBT benefits placed during the COVID 19 pandemic. And this was to temporarily boost the benefits and put it into place during this trying time for many. And many people got emergency allotments. And according to this website, it says that it ended nationwide after the February 2023 issuance. And more of the uh, information is right here. And it says that according to what just happened beginning in 2020, benefits were provided via SNAP to households who needed food or other things during this time. And they got this allotment, but all of that has ended since February of 2023 because, according to them, the pandemic is over. But the issue with all of this is a lot of people thought that this SNAP benefits was that they were going to be getting the EBT food stamps on a continuous basis because from what I've read on Google, a lot of people thought that this EBT, they never said when they got it, they thought they were getting EBT permanently. They never put in the letter that they were getting pandemic benefits. So that is the issue. So I'm going to let Gio say what she wants to say.
Well, I don't. Why didn't they tell people you will only get this during the pandemic? Now people are upset, right?
Yeah, and that's why I said we need to talk about this because there was no clear communication that said, okay, you are now getting EBT benefits, and this is a pandemic SNAP EBT benefits. They just said you are now eligible and now you have EBT benefits. But they never said that it was something that was going to be ending. And that's the issue that I have. Why did they do this? Why didn't they send out the letter when they were, approved for these benefits? Why didn't they say these benefits are only going to last for you during this time period of the pandemic, that this is not something permanent? And a lot of people are very upset about it because they were thinking this is going to be ending until they get a letter in the mail. Like I've heard some people that I know, they got a letter last month saying your benefits will be ending at the end of this month.
I think they was calling it emergency benefits.
Yes.
And I They should have, they should have said this will only last while the pandemic is here, so that people would know. So people that's on it, they are upset because they still need the benefits.
Yes, that's the thing is they thought when they were applying for it, they thought this was something that I'm going to get permanently. It never said in the letter that this was a temporary. All
So
it is your EBT benefits have started. That's it.
and now they sent another letter saying your EBT benefits or
Have
SNAP
ended.
benefits are ending, and it's people are still struggling to buy food.
Yeah, because according to the ordinance that passed, is saying that the pandemic is over, so people should be back acclimated to a regular life by now because the pandemic is quote unquote over.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that, because right now, if you go in the grocery store, things are so expensive. I'm even finding it hard to go in there I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in here and spend $40. Child, I've been spent $80.
That's what I'm saying. So you thought it was bad during the pandemic. Yes, I agree. A lot of people during the time of the pandemic, yes, they lost their job. I understand that part. But also now, yes, people may have gotten a job or they may be working part-time or something like that. But the prices of everything has gone up so much that people really need it. And now it's like people can't even feed their families, and their benefits now have been cut off.
Well, what I don't understand is how come everything is so high, especially food. You
Well,
know,
well, well, they I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what everybody is saying that they blame everything on the pandemic because of what do they call that, supply issues.
yeah, but if the pandemic is over, then how come the food prices haven't went down?
That's
I mean,
exactly what I'm trying to say.
what they blaming it on now? I mean, the food prices before the pandemic, there were a lot of people okay with the food prices, and the food prices wasn't that bad, and I could go in there and spend $40. You can't go in there and spend $40 now.
Mhm.
So the pandemic is over. So how come the grocery stores don't know that?
That's what I'm trying to say. If they're according to what they're saying based on the law that passed, if they're saying the pandemic is over, then they need to stop talking about supply chain issues and raising the prices in the store.
Yeah.
That's the part that I can't get on board with. Don't say the pandemic is over, but they're still blaming the prices on the pandemic.
Yeah, they were supplying families for 3 years, and then all of a sudden they just go stop, and
Yeah,
no
and it
one.
wasn't something that you didn't even know about. That's the part that has me irate right now. I'm really upset about it. You got people who are depending on this benefits to feed their family, and now it's just like they got the letter like maybe 2 weeks before it ended, and then who can be ready for benefits to be cut off within 2 weeks?
Yeah, and you know what? If the grocery stores, I don't know, would go back to what it was, the prices were before the pandemic, maybe people could see their way through. But it was 3 years these people was getting this type of assistance, and then they thought that they was going to be getting it all the time, and now they're not, and they're struggling to feed their kids.
That's what I'm saying. And what it's not that I don't feel for everyone, but who I feel for the hardest is the elderly population
Right.
because these are not somebody like, at a certain, when you're younger, you can go and find employment. But these elderly people, they can't go and find employment. They can't work.
Right, they
They're in
can't.
a whole different situation than other
Right.
people. So it's not that they can't help. How can they get through this if somebody is not helping them?
I
And
think,
that's one of the people that I know, and it's an elderly person, and she's thinking that she's gonna have EBT for the long haul. And she called me and told me they cut off my benefits, and I didn't even know about this. And that's why I wanted to do this topic today, because it kind of hits close to me that that's not my family member. She's a friend of mine and she's older. She's never been married. She doesn't have kids. So they kind of expect, well, go ask your kids and go ask your family to help you. If she's never had any of those things, who is she supposed to turn to but the government?
right. Well, so the EBT SNAP program is different from the regular food stamp program, right?
I am not positive. I don't want to say something I don't know. I'm not sure if they're one and the same, but all I do know is that they had a special program roll out during the pandemic to help
Mhm.
with those who were in a really hard situation, because you remember during the pandemic many people lost their jobs because
Right.
businesses just shut down.
Mm.
So they made that, but I guess they're saying, oh, we don't have any money anymore.
Hmm.
They said they've come to the end of their funding for that.
Child,
And
well,
that's a
you
big
know,
issue for me.
they probably was thinking of, okay, so this is the pandemic. They probably didn't think it all the way through. Like, okay, we're going to give this for how many years, and we should put in the letter. You'll get this once the pandemic is deemed over. You will not be getting these benefits anymore. That is what they should have put in the letter.
Yeah. And
But they did.
that's the issue that I've heard about this, is that all these people, when they, it's just like, I don't know if anybody here in the chat has ever applied for EBT, but I saw the letter from my friend, and when she got it, it never said, okay, you're getting this just until this time period. This is an emergency allotment. It wasn't anything said that. It just says you have now been approved for EBT, and that was it.
Hmm.
So, and they're saying like, so they cut you off, and now they're saying you can reapply if you still need. But who has time to reapply when you need food right now?
Well, that's what they're going to have to do, because I think the SNAP program is different from the regular food stamp program. And if you want to get food and help to get food in your house, you're going to have to take out the time to go and apply for the regular food stamp program, because they have ended this one, and this was just only for the pandemic. But I understand what people are saying, that they should have been notified. I agree with that 100%.
I just don't understand how you can operate from that level of thinking. Like, I guess it's they're not thinking, they're just like, it's just business. You know how like they just get into the whole mode of just saying things, but these are families. These
Well,
are,
they, yeah,
go
and
ahead.
they just cut. They didn't even, it would have been nice a year ago in 2022. They would have sent out a letter saying in 2023, like March of 2022, saying your EBT, blah, 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 will be cut off. It was just for the pandemic. Now that the pandemic is over, that's it. But they did not do that. They just went bam. And then
Yeah, and it
they
was
didn't
like
even
2 weeks
give people,
before. That's
right,
what, yeah.
they didn't give people enough time to prepare. That's how come people are mad and angry, because if they just went bam, you ain't getting no more food stamps. Okay, the program is closed. I would be kind of like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? That's where people are right now, because they did not have time to prepare for this.
Yeah, and I don't think that's fair, because I just don't think sometimes people operate from thinking that these are real people. You know, when these business people and lawmakers are making decisions, they just say things like, okay, this is what we're going to do in section of this and section of that, and we're going to do it for this time. And oh, the money is out, so just close it out. Do they think about the impact that this is going to have? And I especially think about the urban communities or people who are low income. They don't have other choices like other people. And I'm not throwing shade at any of the lawmakers or any of these people, but sometimes people don't understand when you have money, you don't understand what it's like when you don't have money.
Right.
And I don't,
Well,
it's just like beyond all my reasoning and thinking, like how could you be so insensitive and mean, like don't even give 30 days notice. It was like in 2 weeks your benefits will end and then bam, it's done.
right. Like I say, that's what's so upsetting because no one had time to prepare to do something else or to apply for the regular food stamps.
Yeah,
Now, because it takes a while to get all the information together to go down there to apply. Okay.
yeah, and
For regular
it's
food
like
stamps.
people who are like my friend who is elderly, how can she get, she's a person who's disabled. How is she supposed to go down, and all of that costs you money, to get
Yeah.
somebody to take you home, and then you have to wait most of the time 3 to 4 months before those benefits will even start again. So it's just like, in the meantime, what are all these people supposed to do in the meantime?
Where they need to go and because look, they are not going to change their mind about the SNAP program. you know I don't think so. I think it's closed. That's it. Bam, boom. Okay. So I sympathize with all the people that was getting it. I understand. I wished I could have got some of it, you know but that is just how they do. This is the law. This is what we're going to do. We only had it for the pandemic. Now it's over. So what the people is going to have to do is go and apply for the other program. I don't know if any of them will qualify because I don't know what the ben how what it takes to get it, because it's been a long time since I had food stamps. Okay, it was
Right.
when my daughter was first born, and the hospital said you can apply for these for a good 6 months, and I said okay, because I was living with my family back then. And yes, food stamps really do help out. They really help out. And they gave it to me because of the milk that I don't think they had the WIC program back then, but
Mhm.
they gave it to me because of the infant milk that I had to buy. So I only was on food stamps for like 6 months, because right after that I went and found myself a good job, and then they told me that I was ineligible to get them because I made enough for myself. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, I understand how it feels to have that taken away, because then I had to start budgeting money for myself, for food in the house, and my baby's milk and all of this stuff. So I can understand why people are mad about it, because I knew it was going away in 6 months, and I knew I had to go find a job. But they did not tell everybody. So that's how come people are upset, because if they knew, they could have went and applied for the regular ones, and went with that before this one closed.
Well, I feel that's the biggest problem for most people, because they feel like if they had known, if you know something is going to end, in 6 months, then you're going to make preparations, and then you're going to start preparing
Right.
and say, oh, I need to do this and apply and make sure that it would never end. But when you're not prepared and it's like a rug being pulled from under you, it's like, what do you, okay, I wasn't ready for that. And okay, I don't have any money. So now people are scattering to try to get food from like food pantries and probably churches and their family, if they have some that's willing to help them out, because it's not just people who are on EBT are struggling, just like you have said. Even me myself too, I'm struggling because the prices in the grocery store and everything is
Right.
escalating, but the amount of money that you make. So it's tough for many people, but especially people who, if that's your only source of getting food and then that's been cut off, I can't imagine that feeling. I can't imagine that. And I really do feel sorry for all these people. And I hope that they're able to apply and get approved. But some people can apply and they may be denied.
That's true. It's according on, what kind of job they have, how many people in the house work. They go by all of that, how many kids you have, and your electric bill, your gas bill. You have to bring all your personal information to these people, and then they make a decision on whether or not you can get help to buy food.
Mm.
You know, and there are some people, I don't know how they do it, but they jack the system.
Let's talk about that, Gio.
How in the world do they do that? They gotta have somebody on the inside.
I don't know, but I have heard. I don't know if this is hearsay or they're lying or whatever, but I've heard that some people are getting like over $1,000 a month in food stamps.
And then they got a Mercedes in the driveway.
Yes.
This is what Melissa said. Melissa said the cost of living is skyrocketing due to inflation, but the jobs are not giving raises to match the increases in the cost of living. That's true.
Yeah, that's always been my biggest issue is that the cost of living and your pay rate does not match.
No. Well, getting back to these people that figure out how to jack the government, I just don't get it. How do they do that? That
Well,
shouldn't be a
well, I
secret.
feel like they have to have somebody like I don't know who they're called, but the ones that work in the Department of Children and Families, they know somebody on the inside that will say, "Oh yeah, just come in and I'll fix it up to make sure that you get approved."
Gotta be because, and then they got, two, three cars and nice house and they getting food stamps.
Yeah.
I
And
don't,
I've seen them in the store. I can't lie to you. I've seen people in the grocery store, like maybe two, like in the evening when you just have come from a long, hard day at work, and you see them in the grocery store. No shade to anybody, in their bonnets, in their pajamas, getting steak and lobster and shrimp. And I got this little tiny, probably 4 or 5 items, and I'm counting my money over and over again to make sure I have enough money to cover it. And I'm looking at them like, what in the world? Hmm.
hmm.
Like
Well,
how can they do it? And these are not people that I feel are incapable, but somebody told me as well that it's not always that a person has to have a physical handicap, that a person can have a mental handicap, and that makes them qualified.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm not talking about them people. I'm talking about the people that ain't nothing wrong with their butt. And they can get out there and find a job and stuff. It seems like that is their job to jack the government.
Yeah, some people, that's all they do. They find a way to cut corners with everybody. Because I saw something on the news or something, and eventually this person was caught. I think it was on Snap, but they had done all of these things, like they had got food stamps, they were getting an agency to pay for their home and the light bill and the water bill and all of that, but eventually it all caught up to them, and it wasn't nothing wrong with them. Like they were claiming kids that had already passed away.
Oh, wow.
All you have to know is like their social security number and this and that. But eventually everything came to a head and they found out that none of it was true. But it has to be something that, because how is it possible that a person who looks and appears to be in their right mind, and you see them getting food, in the grocery store, like 3, 4 times a month with a full grocery cart, shopping cart, and you got 4 or 5 items that you know, you keep looking in your purse and counting your money like, do I have enough to buy these 5 items?
Mm,
Mm, I don't know. I just don't
yeah.
think it's right and fair that all of these things happen to people who really do need it. Like, I have always said that just because somebody is working, it does not mean that they're doing okay, because
Right.
by the cost of living increases and all those things, is that yes, you have enough to pay your rent and your or your mortgage and light and water, but you don't have anything left after that for food.
No.
And that's the thing I've always have said, that they need to do something about getting people food. I do believe it's a crisis in America where we don't that you would be surprised how many people really are in need of food, but they would never say it because people have the ego and they don't want anybody to find out that they're really struggling. But a lot of people are struggling, and I know I've seen it in the workplace. And lunchtime, they're just sitting in the break room on their phone. And I'm looking at them like, you're not eating? They don't have the
Right.
money.
Right. Yeah. See these, the pandemic is over and stuff. So what? I know a lot of people, businesses went out of, business and all of this, but and then when they do come back, everything is sky high. You know, I
Yeah,
don't.
and they always talk about everything in the store, supply chain issues. Like, let's talk about like all the prices of things. Like, what in the world is going on where eggs should be $10 for a dozen eggs?
I know. Well, here they like almost $6.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? When they used to be $1 something or 2.39. How they jumped up to $6?
Yep.
$6.
Yep. I think the cheapest place I've seen eggs for, I think it was like 3.95 at Aldi.
That's still expensive.
Yeah, that's still expensive, but it's still better than paying $5 or $6 in
Right.
other
But
grocery stores.
that's 18. Remember you used to can get 18 eggs for
Hmm.
$3 maybe.
Yep.
Now and then 12 for $1.37 or 47 is what it
Yep.
used to be here in Houston. Now 18 eggs will cost you right, $10 almost,
Hmm.
Marlene.
Yep.
So how did that happen? Did the chickens catch COVID?
That's what I have said. I don't know. There's so many theories on what has happened and all of that, but I don't know. They keep saying it's this and that and the feed and this happened and that happened. But I personally think that they just jack up the prices on us to be able to make more money.
No, they to be able to make up for what they lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're paying for what they lost during the pandemic.
Right. That's right.
Oh,
But
Pandy said it's $8 for a dozen.
I know that's a shame, you know.
Yeah.
And I just think they're trying to make up for that 2 year loss they didn't have, was making in the business. And what it's doing for the people out here that can't afford to pay these types of prices are starving. And now you taking away EBT.
Mm. And I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true. It's hearsay. It's gossip on the internet. But they're trying to pass where they said that they want to cut off EBT completely.
You mean the regular food stamp program?
Yep. They said they want to just end it and everybody will just be on their own. I don't think it will ever happen, but
Yeah, I
that's
do.
there's talks of that.
It's gonna if they ever do that, it's gonna be robberies. People gonna be
Yeah.
stealing out the store. It's It's gonna be mayhem. It's gonna be just ooh. Can you imagine how the
I can't imagine that.
police gonna be overworked?
Because
It's gonna,
the biggest place where I always see police is always in Walmart, and it's always someone stealing groceries.
right, or fighting.
Oh, fighting! I haven't seen that.
Oh wow. Well,
Well,
that's a whole
they have
nother
that people
subject.
of Walmart where people go in Walmart and act up really bad.
Right.
I,
I don't know why they choose Walmart. But getting
they
back
go
to
in Walmart, and you know when you go in Walmart, it's like you go in Walmart and you meet everybody you haven't seen in a long time.
yeah,
Everybody catches up in Walmart. So I guess if you got beef with somebody and you go in Walmart and they see you, be like, "Yeah, I see you," and then they start something.
I don't know. But they need to be trying to figure out how to get these people some food because if the regular program does not approve them, then what they gonna do?
That's what I say all the time. And what they're saying, like, oh, go to your food pantries and go to your local churches and go to
Right,
this and go to that. But listen, just like if you cut off certain things like EBT and things, there's people who have never even tried to go to food pantries, and they're going to the food pantries now because of the cost of the groceries. So it's infringing on the people who probably would get some help. But because everybody is struggling now with their groceries, now it's nothing in the food pantries.
yeah, and on the news, if they do cut out, I don't think they will turn off the regular EBT program, but there's going to be because of the SNAP program ending. I think it's going to be more people in the grocery stores shoplifting
Oh,
for food.
it's almost a guarantee because we just have to be honest. In urban areas or people who have had things rough in society, they've been, incarcerated, and they just have never been educated. Most of the time in urban areas, there's always a lack of education, a lack of, good housing, and lots of other things. And all of these variables are a part of why there is this downgrade in the system, because they depend on these benefits, and then when they cut it off, what happens to these people? Nobody thinks about or cares about these people. It's just like, oh well, sink or swim.
That's true. I don't even know what to say. You know, just I don't know. Because if it had to happen to me and I didn't have no money or whatever, I would be devastated trying to figure out how am I going to eat next month. When is this supposed to happen? Or has it
Oh, it
already?
already did. It ended the end of last month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think it depends on your state. It's not everybody has ended already, but I know that the ordinance passed last month. So it's up to whatever state to implement it.
Wow.
So there's going to be a lot of problems. And I know, like you said, it's going to be a very big increase in the crime rate in the grocery
Yeah, and
stores.
it almost made me not want to go to the grocery store because you
Well,
don't never know what you gonna get, see, or be close to, or people gonna have a gun, or
mhm,
because they children hungry, they don't know what else to do.
mhm.
It's already a gangs of thieves to get together, so we're gonna now have a grocery store gang.
Well, it's almost every time I go to the grocery store now, it's people who I guess it appears they appear to be homeless, but they're not homeless now. These are people now who have been cut off from EBT. Now they're saying, "Can you help me with $1 to get some groceries for my family?"
Yeah,
And I guess they hang out there until they can get enough to buy their family something for dinner.
right.
So it's like, now is that going to be on the the community now to fund people being able to eat?
I don't know because I can see, like when you go to the grocery store and you park your car and you walk in, I can see people coming up to you asking you for money or taking your purse.
Yeah, it's one or the other. Either they're going to ask you or they're just going to grab your purse.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more dangerous. Like at a certain point, I just stopped carrying my purse into the store and I just have the, what do you call those? The fanny pack, the one that goes under your shirt so that they can't even know. So they're walking and they say, oh, she don't have no purse.
Oh my God. And then
Look what Candy said. Here in South Carolina, they also robbing the pharmacy. I had never seen that before in Washington State.
wow.
Wow.
Because they can't get no medication.
They can't get because unfortunately they are cutting down. When you see a cut down on one benefit, don't think that's the only benefits that have been cut off.
Yeah.
It's a lot of other programs that have ended. We just don't know what they are. And sometimes we look at something, if you're not in that situation, you kind of just go, oh, okay. But if that was you, how would you feel?
Yeah.
Some people just say, oh, well, that's not my problem. But it's somebody's problem. And we never know if one day, you never know if one day you could be in that situation to that you lose your job or you get disabled or something happens to you and you need those benefits. This is a very important program that I just don't understand how they could say that the pandemic is over, but they're still giving us pandemic prices.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. What happened? Did the cows, the pigs, and everything else, the fish, the lobsters, the chickens, did they all get COVID? How, you know what I'm trying to say? During this pandemic, as soon as it was announced that it was a pandemic, that's when the prices went up.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how that could be when before they said it was a pandemic, the prices was normal. Then as soon as they said it was a pandemic, bam, everything went up.
Yeah.
Everything went up. And how can you do that when people, people have lost their job? They telling people don't go to work. And then
Yeah.
you
And
gonna
they said it's
raise
not
the
safe to
food.
go to work. And
Yeah.
like
But
basically trying to say if you don't go to work, we'll take care of you. And then now that they say, oh, the money has run out, that, oh, well, you're on your own.
yeah, but I still don't understand how it could be normal before in the grocery store the prices are normal. And as soon as the president said pandemic, it went up. Eggs went up to $5 and $6 and $8, and they have
Sometimes
not went down. So how did they
sometimes I
lose
have a
their money?
feeling, sometimes I wonder though, I do wonder sometimes if certain things were said so that it could be one of those money making schemes.
I don't know.
You never know, because I'm not saying everything that didn't happen for the pandemic didn't happen, like people actually were sick and actually died, but I'm
Yeah,
saying, but things like in the grocery store, what does that have to do with people being sick? That has nothing to do with that.
I don't understand how the prices just went up sky high during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay, and they have not come down because the pandemic is over.
Yeah.
So did they lose chickens and cows and grains and farm? What did they? I just don't get it because
It
people
doesn't
have
make any
to eat.
sense.
If people don't eat, they gonna steal, and if they gonna
Yep.
steal, they will kill you.
Yep.
And
and
if
and all it's going to do is just shift people from the EBT to prisons, because people are just going to end up in jail because they can't afford to eat. And everybody, it's just your human nature. Everybody wants something to eat. Everybody wants some food. So they're going to do what it takes to get some food. So for some people, I'm not saying it's right. But for some people,
Well,
that's what they're going to do because they asked for help. You won't give me the help, so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do what it takes in order for me to eat something.
yeah,
And
and
then the people like everybody else who is doing right, we have to suffer from higher prices in the grocery store because of the theft.
yep, and that's how come is they already have organized gangs for stealing clothes out of the malls and stuff like that. Now they're gonna organize a gang for groceries. Okay,
Yeah,
and they ain't gonna know what hit them because these gangs that they are organizing are so good at what they do that it takes the government a long time to catch them.
yeah.
So if that's what it's gonna happen, that's what this. I just think that it's just gonna be chaos. It's either you walk in the grocery store, somebody gonna take your purse on your way in there. They're gonna knock you in the head, and take your purse or beat you up and take your purse. Once you in the grocery store, you ain't gonna even know if somebody gonna pull a gun or anything, or take your purse in the grocery store and run. You just don't know, and it's gonna be unsafe to even go to the grocery store.
Well, what my sister is saying, she said she's not afraid going in the store. She's afraid coming out because uh, it could be you're trying to bring your groceries and put it into your trunk, and then somebody may just run up on you and run away with your groceries.
That's true too.
You never know how this is going to be heading. So that's all the information that I had here on this. And I don't know if there's anything that you want to say to end this off.
Say about what? I'm sorry, Marlene.
Yeah, I just want to hear your final thoughts.
Final thoughts is to help people. You know, you have to help people, but especially people that cannot afford food. Because if you don't, it's going to be chaos and things are going to happen. And I just think the crime rate is going to be worse. And not only for the grocery store people or food in the grocery store that's been stolen. It's the people that's going into the grocery store and coming out the grocery store that's going to be jacked. And some of us may not make it. Some of us may die trying to keep our groceries.
Yeah.
I just wish they would just rethink that and maybe make it less for people to get the regular food stamps, because it's hard to get food stamps
It is hard,
in the
and they
regular
feel like
program.
if you meet a certain income, then you should be good, but it's not always that.
And also now you get so little. You used to get enough to feed a certain amount of kids, if you had a family of 6. But now you can barely even feed them with food stamps.
Yep.
So that's my final thoughts is to just help. Don't make it worse. We already went through the pandemic. We made it through. Okay? Get the prices back down to where they go and give these people some help with food so that they can feed their families.
That's I agree completely, and thank you so much for your thoughts on this really hard-hitting topic. Thank you all so much for joining me today for the Marlene Saunders show, and we have real talk and real conversations over here. And thank you for my co-host, Gio Monroe show. And also, if you have not subscribed to each of our channels, go ahead and do so. I thank you all for tuning in today. Leave me a comment in the comment section below if you're watching on the replay. Thank you for tuning in today to the Marlene Saunders show, where we have real talk and real conversations, and you're welcome to it. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself.